think that when you draw something, you don't just simply copy it. There's an energy interaction between you and the subject. When I draw a portrait of someone, the energy coming from them guides me to create a representation of them. The same process happens when I draw these objects. I, as the artist, connect to them on a certain level, even subconsciously. The object I chose is described as a ritual vessel that is in the Asian section here in the Humboldt Forum. And I can't hide away from the fact that I'm drawing in a space that holds the aftermath of colonialism, and it grows inside me this feeling of wrongdoing, of pain and loss. Despite the excitement of using a new technology to draw, that sunken feeling of colonial injustice never ceased throughout this project. I feel there's a hidden discomfort that is hard to explain when I was in this space. Back to the jar, however, it first drew my attention by its surface details. The pattern on it has clear contrast and creates positive and negative shapes in its composition, together forming a drawing of a creature that I later found out to be named Tao Tia. Tao Tia is described to be a voracious creature, hence they are usually decorated on bowls to remind us to have balance in appetite. This vessel serves for a ritual purpose is called ding, or in Vietnamese it is called ding hương. In our culture, straw ashes are put inside the ding and burning incenses are stuck in there. We would put our hands together with our eyes closed and think or say our hopes and wishes to our ancestors, hoping that our family will receive luck, health, and many, many nice things. As a kid, I would often question myself about this custom, as my dad or grandmother would speak out. I wondered, wouldn't it be less embarrassing to just pray in your minds? Growing older, however, I ponder upon this more and think that there's some good reasons behind it. First of all, I think that people have many thoughts, stresses, and feelings from their lives that they can't express to anyone. A place where you can be alone and feel safe like home can help you release and speak up. In a spiritual way, however, saying your hopes and goals out is a way of solidifying them even more, reassuring yourself, and might as well help it become true. In another way, as your thoughts are too chaotic and jumbled, formulating them in a clear and simple way is a good practice. We have a saying in our country, bend your tongue 7 times before you speak, which means you need to consider what you say before you say it. Vietnamese kids are taught to have structure in their sentences, especially when they're talking to elders. For adults, it's the same lesson that we still need to practice. We need to formulate what we would say well, whether it's to our friends, our bosses, or when we're praying to our ancestors. Praying to them, whether out loud or in silence, it's to spiritually send our loving energy to our past members. It is again like what I said about drawing. It also asks for this energy interaction. To me, this vessel holds a special role in connecting to our ancestors. So, seeing them today, caged in Humboldt Forum, I think of how long they have not received love and energy from their own people. Imagine if objects also have their own souls. What does the action of locking them up from their own use mean? You keep a person away from their purpose. You keep a person away from contact with their loved ones. No white Europeans would come here to pray with these objects because it is not part of their culture. I, as a kid, did not pray out loud like my father did because I had doubts. I still believe that somehow my ancestors are still around watching over us. I did put my hands together, close my eyes, and think of them. but I never said my prayers out. So it took me, someone raised in this culture, a long time to empathize and appreciate this custom. The Europeans can't understand something like this just by coming to see some locked up objects. This is the point I want to express before sharing any ideas I developed from the 3D drawing and researching the vessel. So, I like the idea that objects also have souls, and I imagine a scenario where these objects are returned to their home and presented in an exhibition. The topic of the exhibition will be about roots, traditions, and culture that also combines 3D technology. The visitors can come in and send their positive messages to the objects, welcoming them home, and the 3D visualization of their audios will appear and create beautiful looking patterns, showing that the objects also interact to the warm messages of their people. In terms of location for this type of exhibition, I find a peaceful space like a pagoda or temple a very fitting space where people can open up and say out their hopes and wishes. This is basically my idea for an exhibition pitch where it's a bit different because of the space I'm proposing and the story of the objects. I'd propose that exhibition tours are organized for groups of friends and family where they could together be guided through this spiritual path. Instead of being only amazed by the 3D technology, I really hope that people leave an exhibition like this wondering, pondering more about their roots and heritage.